Posted by u/ddysbbygrl19. Hoodie from hell. So this is my first post and I'm not sure this is the exact spot it belongs, but maybe so. My best friend of 12 years and I were hanging out one night about 7 to 8 years ago. I didn't have a jacket and it was cold, so she pulled an Alabama hoodie out of her closet and told me I could borrow it. Well, at the end of the night I had forgotten to return the hoodie, so it went home with me. A few nights after I took the hoodie home, my mother had washed it and I set off to go hang out with my best friend again. Her, another friend of ours, and I went and got into our usual shenanigans, and when we got back to her house, I got out of the back seat and left the hoodie there and told her I was returning it. About a week after returning the hoodie, I look in my closet trying to find something to wear for the day. What I found was the hoodie. I pulled it out, went to my mom and asked her where it came from. It was in the laundry room, so I washed it and hung it up in your closet, she said. Thinking maybe I just imagined giving back the hoodie, I told my friend, hey, I have your hoodie, I'll bring it when I see you next. She told me it was still in her back seat from the night I had already returned it, so, no, I didn't have it. I told her to go look for it. She couldn't find it. So, I once again returned the hoodie to her the next day. Fast forward another week. I find the hoodie once again in my closet. I asked my mother again where the hoodie came from and she said, you must have worn it again and threw it in the laundry room. I washed it and hung it back in your closet. Okay, I know I gave it back for sure, so how do I have it? I again text my friend and tell her I have her hoodie. She again tells me, no, it's in my room, you gave it back. She looks and the hoodie in fact is not there where it should be. We finally decided for me to keep it because apparently it wanted to stay with me. It's now been about 4 to 5 years since the last time I saw it. She hasn't looked for it, and if she finds it at her house when I know I was the one who ended up with it, we're burning it. Has anyone else ever had a similar occurrence? Posted by u/DannyBelts. I saw a video of a Beyonce poster, blink. So, this was approximately 15 years ago when the only cell phones were Nokia and Motorola, in NZ anyway. It is really important for me to stress the level of phone technology back then. There was no touch screen technology, no apps, no Bluetooth, maybe infrared, but I don't remember. The camera quality on phones were terrible, not many pixels, dark, blurry, and phones definitely had no editing software on them. I wasn't there when it happened, but I saw the video evidence after. I was at a friend's house hanging out and this had just happened a few nights prior, so my friend was still freaking out and dying to show me the video. 3 of her nieces and nephews around the ages of 5 to 7 loved to play on everyone's phones, even as simple as they were back then. They had grabbed one of the adults' phones and taken it into the room to play. One of the nieces had started to record a video of them jumping from one single bed to another back and forth as kids do. They go on to record each other, then walk up to get a close-up on a Beyonce poster on the wall just above one of the beds. With the camera on the Beyonce poster, she literally blinks. Clear as day, recorded on video. You hear the niece who is recording the video actually say, "Did she just blink?" And the video ends shortly after. I watched the video over and over and over. There was no way that video was edited with the technology we had back then, and if it were possible, some 5 to 7-year-old kids wouldn't have known and scripted that video. I don't know how interesting my story is, sorry, but it honestly blew my mind. Like, what is that? How does that happen? Should I be worshipping Beyonce right now? Posted by u/1lamuros. T-shirt mysteriously reappears. This story starts with some background from when I was a kid, but the glitch happens when I'm in my late teens and I vividly remember it. Hope I'm not violating the rules, but the first paragraph of the story is important. When I was younger, my mother had bought these different colored pens that were basically a paint that you could create custom t-shirts with. One of the t-shirts I made was a black sleeveless one with the letters H2 on the front in orange ink. This was my professional wrestling name since I was obsessed with WWF back then. I used to wear this shirt when I was playing around background wrestling with my friends. In my later teen years, around 16 to 17 years old, I discovered the shirt again and decided to bring it on a weekend guys trip for a laugh. I wore it one day and all the guys gave me a ton of shit, well deserved, for this embarrassing shirt from when I wanted to be a pro wrestler as a kid. During the trip I decided I'd dispose of the shirt. So I dug a hole on a fairly remote beach, about 2 feet deep, and buried the t-shirt. When I say a remote beach, I'm talking there are only 7 little holiday houses, shacks, near this beach. The trip ends, I go home, forget about the shirt. About a year or so later, I'm going through my drawers and in the bottom drawer at the back underneath a bunch of other clothes I find a H2 shirt. Not a similar one. This was the exact one that I had buried on that remote beach. I only ever made one of the shirts, so I know for sure it was not a duplicate. I told my friends about this and they couldn't believe it since they knew I had buried it. I wondered if maybe one of them dug it up. But I would have found it in my bag when I unpacked. So strange seeing it clean and folded with a bunch of other clothes after such a long time being buried in sand. Posted by you/cartoon9. I remember places I've never been to from time to time. TLDR, sometimes I remember old or new places I feel like I have been to. So I should start by saying that this is very minimal glitch since I have no proof it is one of just something my brain creates from time to time. I don't really know how to express it, but from time to time I come across a place, a person, a smell, a situation, or whatever that gives me a deep feeling, sometime associated with a brief vision, in my head, not an hallucination, of a place. It's really hard to describe, but it's been happening as far as I can remember. I just didn't care too much about it until recently when I figured that some of these places would often come back. That's when I decided to try and actively remember those places and the feeling it was associated with. I'm dumb, so I didn't bother to write anything down, so that's what I'm trying to do right now to try and remember better. There is 3 places in particular that comes back more often and I managed to remember. The first one is the one I remember the most. I'm in a cold garden, probably before winter, leaves are on the ground, a metal fence with spades all around, a dried concrete pool in the middle, not rectangular, more like a coat of arms, like something from the Baroque era, with a cold mansion close to the dried pool. Like I said, it comes with a feeling which is sort of loneliness. It doesn't bring sadness, it just feels empty. I could also date this to be from 1700 to 1800, somewhere like that. I can't explain it, I just feel it from what I saw. The second one I remember less, since those visions last a couple seconds. I don't have a lot of details. Anyway, this one is way older, like beginning of the modern civilization old. I can't date this one. I just remember being on a yellow dusty cliff, watching a deep blue sea in front of me, no end in sight, no clouds in the sky. It feels very hot, and on my left is a huge brick wall, the same color as the ground, sort of dusty yellow, that goes like 50 m in the sky. It feels really tall. This one also feels empty, but not in the same way. It feels like everything is so big for humans, like there's not much souls living on the planet yet. The third one I remember practically nothing, and is also the most modern one, I would say. I'm outside once again. I see a big white modern building, nothing too fancy, white painted metal and glass, with a few bamboo plants alongside. There's a path leading somewhere on the side of that building, but I don't know more. This one feels like something that could happen in the future, strangely, at least a near future. It doesn't comes with a deep feeling, just kind of empty like the others. I have a lot of these visions, but most of the time I just feel like it's something my brain makes up in reaction to something I saw or whatever, but I have to say these 3 comes back more than the others and give me a weird feeling like I've been there. What do you think? Did it happen to you? Thanks for taking the time to read me, guys. I hope it wasn't too messy.